Howie, what behind the scenes moments can you share that we wouldn't otherwise know from that day?
Well, there are a couple of things, and they both revolve around abject fear. One of which was that if you noticed, they put these gigantic baseball card replica sort of closets out on the field where each of us would walk out from. So when I get in there, there's a couple of things going on. First of all, it's very windy. And second of all, you're asking me to do something that even borders on mechanical, which is to open the door and push it open a significant amount so that I can come out of that door and stroll to my place on the field. Well, I figured when I got in there, there are about three ways I could screw that up. And as I mentioned, it was windy. I saw that whole thing. I envisioned it just collapsing and me getting trapped in it, not being able to open the door or pounding on the door so hard that the whole thing would fall down. So I saw a fiasco from the moment I walked in there. Thankfully, none of that evolved. However, speaking of fiascos, if you had seen my first pitch a couple of nights earlier, we were charged with having to throw another one. And I think they did this for me, which was not fair because in my own defense, I hit the glove for 10 minutes at 2:30 in the afternoon a couple of days before. But at least I can say I nailed my first pitch to Art Shamsky. Yes, thank you. I nailed my first pitch to Art Shamsky from about 10 feet. So maybe I didn't have 60 feet, 6 inches, but I've got 10.
So I just learned something I didn't know. You had to open the door yourself?
Yeah.
Because I had a union member in the closet with
Yeah,
me,
so did I, but he said you open it.
And my handler and the union member said, do not touch the door. I have to open and close it. So I was hands off. So that took away one piece of trepidation right there.
Wow.
As far as the pitch is concerned, I had rotator cuff surgery in November, and I probably hadn't thrown a ball in about 20 years until I warmed up with my son earlier in the week. So I was ready to go, but I wasn't sure. And, Keith backed up like 20 feet further before he lined up with everybody else. And I threw a strike, and Keith told me I would have gotten it, probably a lot further if it had been necessary, but I was just happy that went off without a hitch.
Gary, how long did it take you to write your speech?
I wrote it pretty quickly. Well, here's behind the scenes for you. We were told, Howie and myself and Howard, to hold our speeches to 2 minutes. 2 minutes. To talk about a lifetime and thank everyone.
Al can't say hello in 2 minutes.
That's exactly right. So when I first wrote it, it was about 7. And in deference to the guidelines, I tried to get it down to 5. I think Al went about 8, if I'm not mistaken. I think mine was probably about 5.5. So yeah, I wrote it pretty quickly, but I had to pare out some things, and some folks got left on the cutting room floor, and I had to apologize a couple of times.
Are you guys able to be mentally present and listen to the others' speeches? Like, are you still just so overwhelmed and there's so much stimulus around you?
Oh, absolutely. I definitely listened to everybody. I thought the whole thing was great. I felt very calm. In terms of the walking out, and I just made sure I didn't trip or run into the cameraman. That was one of the things. I had the handheld camera, and he was following me, and all of a sudden I had to get to my seat. I had to veer in his direction. I didn't want to trip over him or knock the camera out of his hands. But yeah, it was kind of serene. I don't know about you, Howie, but for me, there was a certain aspect of it being an out-of-body experience. This is somebody else doing this. And I was kind of looking down on it. The whole thing is kind of surreal, really.
It's funny you say that because I did an interview on the Michael Kay show yesterday, and he was asking me similar questions, and I said it was very much an out-of-body experience. But at the same time, what makes it so much easier than you might think is that, for one, this is what we do. We speak for a living. So that phase of it did not challenge me much. But you're performing, if you will, or you're being received by an audience that you sort of have. I mean, they're with you. It's not as though you're walking out there afraid of how they're going to react. It's a joyous occasion. You know that we have a connection with the people sitting in the stands because that's where we both grew up. So you've got a captive audience. And that makes it a lot easier, I think, if there would have been any trepidation for some other people, why it wouldn't have been much for us.